Okay, one, Trump's in on it, and he's here to like enhance Israel's influence over the country and help sink the country into a technocratic and surveillance state. Option two, we're being threatened, meaning us, the people, and he's doing what he has to do to make sure that people don't get killed. I don't think Trump wants to see people get killed. I think Trump hates needless death. That his actions speak to that. Not just Americans, anywhere.
Yeah, humanity.
If I have to say what I believe is happening,
what your gut says,
that's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
So option two, that's what I think is happening. Option three, all of these people figured out that they have everything on them, and they've all agreed that like, hey, we're just going to bury this and move on, which
and keep using it. Let's get into it. So less than a week after the Diddy the Diddy files and the Diddy trials, and allegedly he did not do it. Apparently neither did Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a client list, and he committed suicide. DOJ and FBI saying findings that debunk conspiracy theories. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said in late May. No one else involved in the Epstein case will face charges, according to the memo, beyond his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving 20 years for child sex trafficking and other related crimes. Now, I recall when President Trump ran his second term campaign on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein client list if he'd become elected. He was asked it on national television, saying, I'd have no problem with it. You know it's bad when even CNN is saying what the fuck's happening here. After months of touting the impeding release of new blockbuster information on accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, the Justice Department is set to announce Monday that there is no evidence he kept a client list or was murdered, department officials said. Now, Elon Musk he's been in the news in some of the headlines here lately. He posted this on Twitter earlier. What's the time? Oh, look, it's no one has been arrested o'clock again. With the picture of the official Jeffrey Epstein pedophile arrest counter at 0. Alex Jones even jumped in on this. Alex Jones says, next, the DOJ will say, actually, Jeffrey Epstein never even existed. This is over the top sickening. Now, immediately people jump in on this. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's putting their 2 cents in on it. But I do want to lay out some facts, some things, that, and these aren't even things that happened, like 6 years ago that like are, completely contradicting what's happening right now. These are things that happened very, very recently. This is a Gateway Pundit article asking. You mean like
Virginia or that victim
Virginia
dying?
Giuffre, yeah.
Yeah, she just died, a month ago?
Yeah. If Jeffrey Epstein had no client list, then why did AG Pam Bondi tell reporters the list is sitting on my desk right now to review? That's in the process of being reviewed.
Why was she caught on hidden camera talking about how there was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of video that they needed to review on hidden camera?
Yeah.
And I believe that was James O'Keefe that put that together.
Recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, why would she say things like this? Let's check this clip.
I saw your appearance at CPAC with Ben and with Ted Cruz. And one of the things that you alluded to, and this is something Donald Trump has talked about, the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
So if there was no list, then what the fuck were these people celebrating? Right? When all these, right-wing,
influencers. Well, remember, those people are paid propaganda. They are paid propaganda. Those people are paid by, allegedly by different PACs, different
countries.
Yeah. Or, who knows, to it's no different than influencers, bro.
Yeah.
It's no different than like companies paying an influencer to endorse their product.
Yeah, right.
It's the same
Instead
thing.
of, drink this water.
Yeah,
it's
it's
great.
like when Harry Sisson got $200,000 and didn't
right.
disclose it from. The only difference is in business, if you don't disclose it, it's an FCC violation. In politics, you could just pretend like it's your genuine
It's politics.
beliefs, right?
It's politics. Yeah. I mean, what about these? So Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on, allegedly trafficking children. He brought them to this massive island. We know the island exists. And we know that Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to prison for help setting it up. So these kids were trafficked to who?
And there was no list because it was just random. It was just random. It was just random that all these people, these famous people, had showed up at Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
Just random.
Just super random.
Yeah.
It's also random too, the fact that he was on suicide watch. However, this is a picture from the evidence files. Why the fuck does he have so much in his room if he's on suicide watch? That's literally goes against every single SOPs. I mean, whatever. It goes against all of it.
Yeah, aren't they? Isn't suicide
supposed to have
watch
nothing?
Yeah, that's right. Nothing that can be even attached or detached from
This
the wall.
is Jeffrey Epstein's cell.
Yeah.
The day his body was discovered.
What are those orange things? Sheets?
Those are all sheets and jumpsuits.
Yeah.
A shit ton of them.
Yeah.
A shit ton of them. And you know what's even crazier, Andy, is we got to go back a couple of years. This is before Dan Bongino became the deputy director of the FBI. And again, I want to remind folks, okay, with this whole breakdown here, Dan Bongino, he said confidently, this was about a month ago, he says he's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it. Now, you know what's interesting? When you go back a couple of years, let's go back to March of 2023, before Dan Bongino became the deputy director of the FBI. Let's see what he had to say then. Check this out.
About a year and a half after that, I'm in a green room at Fox, and I'm not going to say who because they didn't give me permission to share it, but the short story, but not who they are. It says, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. But this person, who's a very, very good reporter, I mean, aces, right? Swore Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff. So the point is, to sum it up.
That's a very different take, man. And, a lot of people point the finger. They say he was a Mossad intelligence asset. That's been heavily out there.
Well, and when they say, oh, well, Jeffrey Epstein didn't have a client list, well, maybe Mossad had it.
And it's interesting because you know what's funny, Andy? This comes out. This is Monday when we're recording this. Guess who's in town right now?
I know, Netanyahu. It's funny because so you're telling me that out of the blue, there's no Epstein list.
None.
There's no proof. There's no this. And it happens to be when Netanyahu is meeting with Trump and everybody else. So you're telling me that's what it is. And we're supposed to believe that.
Just take it.
It's clearly a lie. And the only thing I can think is that these people didn't want to lose the ability to blackmail everybody and control the world. And there's a couple scenarios that could be at play here. One is that Trump and his administration are caught up in it, and he doesn't want it coming out.
Well, do you remember that? That's one of the first things when Elon and Trump got into that feud.
Yeah.
I have to remind people, there was a tweet Elon put out. Time to drop the really big bomb. This was on June 5th, okay? Literally just 30 days ago, a little bit over 30 days ago. Time to drop the really big bomb. At Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT.
Yeah, and then he says, mark the post. The truth will come out. Well, that's one option, for sure. That's one option.
I think it'd be bad. Like, I mean, again, I like Donald Trump. I have a lot of great things I can say for that man, but like,
he's going to lose his.
You have to lay the options on the table.
Not only that, bro. He's losing belief and trust that he has America's best interest in mind, and it's just reality, dude. People are not going to trust him, dude, and people aren't going to trust the people around him. I've heard some things that I can't repeat that indicate that he is wrapped up in it, but not in the way that people think. It would be embarrassing for him, but not in the way that people think. Meaning, he's not involved with kids. It's not any of this shit. It has more to do with people in his personal life and how he came to know them. But I'm not going to say that because I don't know that that's fact.
Yeah.
But that is what I've been told by people who kind of know what's going on. They don't kind of know, they know. I think he's going to ruin his whole legacy over this. And I think that whatever it is, if it's embarrassing to him, he should let it out. Because, dude, people aren't going to trust the government, and this distrust in the government will eventually lead to a revolution. Yeah. And it will be violent. I'm not saying today, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying next year. I'm saying that people know what's been going on. They know what's been going on.
It's too much is out, bro. You can't just tell us, nothing happened.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. And dude, there's
nothing.
The abruptness of this and the timing of this on a Sunday night on 4th of July weekend or a Sunday day, how I can see this happening, it feels like a directive. It feels like you, DOJ, you, FBI, tell the press this is closed, it's over, and we'll deal with whatever the backlash is. That's what it feels like. And it feels like it comes from the top, of somewhere up the top. And the fact that Netanyahu is in town does not feel like a coincidence at all. And so it could be that first thing. The second thing it could be is that Israel straight up has said, if you don't stop this right now, we're going to do this. And whatever this is,
it got to be pretty bad.
Yeah, could be real bad.
Yeah.
So we don't know that. You know what I mean? We don't know if, let's say Netanyahu goes to Washington and says to Trump and Vance and everybody and says, hey, if you don't put a end to this today, right now, we've got 3 nuclear weapons already placed in 3 of your big cities that we're going to set off right now. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. And we'll blame it on Iran. Everybody believe it.
Yeah. Who knows? Okay, we don't know. The third thing that it could be is that, like I've said a gazillion times, they have information on everyone. These people have the data stream of every text, every email, every voice message, every picture, every single thing that anyone has ever done, including you, the listener. They have. And they retrieve those things and research those things as needed. So what could have happened also is that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and by the way, Kash Patel's girlfriend is a ex-IDF soldier, apparently, which is strange, if that's true.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one.
I read that, but you can never tell if it's real or not. But that's what I read. She was, I believe, the CEO or one of the high-ranking officials at PragerU. But anyhow, the point is that these people could have figured out, like, oh man, they've got stuff on me. Bongino could have figured out, oh man, they got stuff on me. And now all of a sudden they're willing to turn around and lie to protect their own embarrassments. So there could be a lot of things going on, but I certainly don't think it's that, oh, there's no list. And by the way, he killed himself.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody believes that. And I think the fact that nobody believes that and that everybody's lying is going to crumble the faith that people have in our government. Maybe that's intentional. Maybe that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know, but I know this. They ran on it. She talked about it being on her desk. She's on video talking about the hours and hours, the thousands of hours of video.
All the victims.
Yeah.
We're just trying to protect the victims.
Yeah. Like, bro, these people are clearly lying. And for whatever reason, we don't know. And I think it's one of those kind of wait and see type things, but they did just put something out today, like right as the show started. And I didn't get to look into it, but I saw it come up on a couple different pages that they said that the case is officially closed.
Yeah, they're not releasing any other further, no more documents, no more anything. It's over.
That has to be coming from Netanyahu, bro. And if it is, I mean, if it is, it's confirmation of what a lot of people have been saying.
Not only that, bro, but it's like either one of those, it does like any one of those scenarios, right? Those options we laid out, they all end in the same thing. That's the problem. Like, they're all going to end in a very bad outcome for America.
Well, yeah.
In the short term. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, because here's what it means. Here's what it means. People aren't going to like when I say this, but here's what it means. It means we're not even a real country. It means what we are is we are the iron fist that is controlled by a little bitty country in the Middle East, and all of the things that we're told about being patriotic and going to war and protecting our republic and all of these things are not true. I mean, when you think about like what our kids are brought up to believe and what we were brought up to believe, and like, you know, we have all of these rights and freedoms and we have a duty to protect it, and we have a duty to protect this or that. And they've raised us to be like masculine, aggressive, America's so badass type people. Nobody else is like that in the world. None of the other. Why is that? Why is America like that? Well, it's because we've been taught that. And we've been taught that for what reason? And when you think about like who goes around the world and gets involved in all these different wars and conflicts, well, there's a reason that most countries don't have a favorable opinion about American military. Okay? And then you think, well, who's propagating our youth? Who's controlling that message? Who's trying to get people to go fight these wars? And for what reason? And then we look back, like, let's just say on the Middle East. You know, we talk about the Middle East, you know, what we've been doing there since the 70s. We go in, we quote unquote restore democracy, but in reality, none of those countries ever operate better than what they were before.
Yeah.
Okay. So really what we do from everybody else's point of view in the world is we go in, we destabilize these countries, and we make them more vulnerable for the countries next to them. Well, who's the country that's next to them? It's Israel. And have you looked into the Greater Israel Project, which is basically the expansion of borders into all these other countries? It's not a mistake that Israel tries to get us into all these wars in the Middle East. And that's not anti-Semitic to say so. Like, they're over there in their government. Okay? So it's dude, the whole thing's up, dude. And Trump's not doing what he said he was going to do. Mm-mm. Like, very clearly. And he's not explained it either.
He hasn't said anything on it.
No. And what it could be, in my mind, is those three options. Okay. One, Trump's in on it, and he is Zion Don, and he's here to like enhance Israel's influence over the country and help sink the country into a technocratic and surveillance state. That's option one.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that's an option. Option two, we're being threatened, meaning us, the people, and he's doing what he has to do to make sure that people don't get killed. I don't think Trump wants to see people get killed. I think Trump hates needless death. That his actions speak to that. Not just Americans, anywhere.
Yeah, humanity.
Yeah, and dude, everybody I know that knows him, and I know this isn't going to be good enough for people, everybody I know that knows him says he's a great, great man. Okay? And my belief if I have to say what I believe is happening,
what your gut says,
that's what I think is happening.
Yeah.
So option 2, that's what I think is happening. Option 3 is that all of these people figured out that they have everything on them, and they've all agreed that, like, hey, we're just going to fucking bury this and move on. Which
and keep using it.
And
keep using it.
I just don't see that working on Trump, dude. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Trump's...
Well, use it to their advantage. You know what I'm saying? Because it is. It's a control mechanism.
For sure. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, once you
and you're on the inside.
Yeah.
So if you're already compromised and you're on the inside, then why the fuck would you want to end it?
Well, use it for everybody else.
Right.
Well,
I personally...
Which he doesn't strike me as that type of guy either.
I truly believe we are being threatened, meaning our people are being threatened over this right now. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah, man.
That's if I had to bet, and I mean, fuck, dude.
You're not a gambler, man.
I know, but my average is pretty high. I'm betting on option 2, and I bet we're going to find out soon.
Yeah.